Hey, book besties, have you read these books? You haven't. What are you doing? What are you doing? You want sweet, you want cute, you want fluffy interracial romances, and you haven't read these as yet? What? A matter of fact, you haven't read anything from these authors before? If it is one thing that I am always doing, it is one, reading an interracial romance, and two, reading a book by an indie author. Okay, so you like fluffy, you like sweet, you like cute, you want to read books by indie authors. You also want to read books where there's an interracial couple. I got you. I got you. I got you. If this is what you're looking for, keep watching. Hi, my name is Jessel, and I like to read romance. I want to share with you some recent, cute, sweet, light romances that I have read lately. If I could experience any one of these books again, I would want to. I wish I could just, turn back the hands of time and just read all of these books for the very first time. The Family Man by KT Adler. This is book one in the Sprinkle of Spice series. She has another book in the series, but this one, it is my favorite. This one had me giggling and it had me laughing out loud, and it was so much fun to read. In this book, we meet Sage and Zach. And Zach recently discovered that he is a father of twins, and now his kids are coming to live with him. He had to find a house for them to live in, and he ends up finding a house next to Sage. They have completely different personality. She is very structured and he is very chaotic. You have incidents of poop because someone did not clean up behind their dog. You have situations where he has no idea what to do with his kids, and she comes in and she helps him. And then you have a situation where he has a fling with this crazy person that will do anything to remove Sage from the picture. You have a really great sisterhood in this story because Sage and her sister, they are the cutest, they are the sweetest, and they actually gave the couple competition. That's to tell you how much I enjoyed their relationship, that sisterhood bond. Think about a neighbor moving in and just creating havoc in your life, removing your peace from your life. And that is what Zach did to Sage. This book, it is given, first of all, neighbor next door, opposite attracts, but you're also getting an enemies to lovers in this book. Zach was a wildcat and I had no idea what to expect next from him. Another cute book for me that I enjoyed was Themes of Kismet by A.Akinosho. This book is multicultural and interracial. You know how they say, okay, well, the first time is a coincidence and the second time is a chance? Well, they had to meet up like 3 or 4 times before they got it right. So we meet Ibon and Noah in this story. They met in their early teens, just walking through the airport, and they had like this instant connection. Then they met again like a few years after that, and they didn't have the opportunity to take anything further. Then they met again, and it's like, okay, no, something has to come out from all of this. And so they start up having a relationship, but things keep happening to keep them separated. We met one time, okay, like cool, but then we meet again, and then we keep meeting at certain intervals in our life. Like, is fear trying to tell us something? This is a very sweet story. This is not a spicy book whatsoever, but it is one where you will keep rooting for the characters because you want them to finally get a happily ever after. And you have some Nigerian culture in this book, in the sense that when they are finally together, things from their culture or from her culture would want to separate them. So they have to overcome that obstacle of differences in culture. And this is the vibes that you get from this book. I have some short books in between because you know what? I realize like we love thick books. We love them, right? But in between, having a shorter read makes life simple. It makes life good. And it is part of the Lunchtime Chronicles. It is Thick and Beefy by Peyton Banks. This is your second chance romance. So we meet Makisha and Nash. They met in college. Nothing happened. Nash was immediately friend zoned by Makisha. It just was not going to happen. And then at their college reunion, they meet again, and Nash is like, you know what? I'm going to try a shot. I'm going to shoot my shot. What could happen? I could still continue to be friend zone, right? And it so happens that when they do meet up and he realizes, oh, she's single, and realize that she always had a crush on him, it's like, okay, game over. I am going full throttle and pursuing a relationship with Makisha. Like this weekend that we have for this college reunion, all right, I am going to pursue her heavy. I really, really like this one. There's nothing dark about this book, period. So this book here, Sweet Obsession by D.A. Young. This is book 1 in the Whiskey Row series. I listened to the audiobook and I was so engrossed into their story. I enjoyed that story. So I went through the entire series in a matter of days. Like I was listening to the books back to back because it really took me to a community, and the characters were interconnected. From the first book, which I'm going to talk about, brothers and close friends were introduced, and so they got their book. And so you meet the characters at the beginning and you're like, okay, I can't wait for their book. I can't wait for their book. In this book, right, we meet Jack and Noella. Jack, he had some type of childhood trauma. He experienced something, so he's scared of getting into any type of serious relationship. And then we have Noella, and she is placed in a situation where she needs to marry. Jack overhears that and he's like, you know what? He has been crushing on her for the longest time. He has been interested in dating her for the longest time. And he's like, you know what? This is the perfect opportunity to do that. You have a bit of some blackmail in it, but it is not dark. You are going to fall in love with Jack because you're going to see him overcome his fears. And then you're just going to see Noelle. She's just going to boil down like some beans, like some gravy, like some peas and rice. She's going to sit right there and she's just going to realize that, you know what? There's more to Jack. The story for me was beautifully narrated. I got into these characters like so easy. Like I fell in love within the first 30 minutes of listening to this audiobook. You know, when you just meet characters and you gravitate to them and you like them and you just want the best for them, this is it. This sweet obsession, again, it is not dark, because we know how sometimes dark romances have that like obsession piece. It's nothing. It's not like that, yo. It's not like that. Jack has a brotherhood with his brothers and friends, and then Noella, she has her close friends, so she has some sisterhoods. They have different personalities, and so you get to hear from them, and so you're giggling with them and laughing with them. And when they come together and they're cooking meals, it's just so homey and it's just so like family oriented that you're like, oh, I wish I could go to Men of Whiskey Row. I want to go to the Whiskey Row. I wanted to go to Whiskey Row, I'm telling you. I wanted to go to Whiskey Row to meet these men. Like, seriously, I was hooked. I was lying and I was trying to hold on, but I sank. I sank for the men of Whiskey Row. The sun is setting, the clouds are coming out. I don't know, we're going to run out of light, but we are going to get through this list nonetheless. Swept Up, and it is a BWWM small town romance, and it is written by Symone West. This is your strangers to lovers. So we have Malaya, and she's going to a small town. She's going to visit someone, I believe, and she decides to come out and to cross some river. Girl, why are you crossing a river where rain is falling? You can get swept away, which is what happened. And Noah comes and saves her. You see this tension. It's almost like an Insta situation, but it's not really an Insta, right? They form this relationship over this period of time. Yes, they were strangers, but you also have that forced proximity between them, and where they started to form an emotional connection. So they both experience something very traumatic. They're both dealing with something, and they both help to heal each other. Yo, this is such a quick read. This one is short. You're going to get through it so quickly. There are one or two triggers in it. You don't see it. It's when they're talking about it and reflecting on their situation, which allows for healing. Swept Up, that is exactly what he did. He swept her out of a river because she would have drowned. So Liberian by Niccoyan Zheng. This is book 10 in the book Boyfriend Dating Agency. In this book, we meet Austin and Mr. Darcy. So she is going on a date. As a matter of fact, let's go back. She is supposed to go on a date. She doesn't want to go on a date, but because of a promise she made to her sister, she has no choice but to go on this date. But before she even goes on the date, she's like, you know what? If this guy comes 1 minute late, I'm leaving. That's it. He has 1 minute. And what happens? He comes late. But he charms her so well. He engages her in a conversation. He holds her attention, and they had a ball. Everything that she thought about went out the window from the time that they started to eat and chat to the point where they left. It was just fun. I was laughing while reading this book. Laughing. Because there was a scene where she was contemplating about her granny panties. She was contemplating about the granny panties that she was wearing. I'm just gonna leave it there. I had a ball reading this book, y'all. Go read it. Okay, this is your blind date trope. I never knew there was a blind date trope until I read this book, and I'm like, I want more books like this. If you want something that's warm and fuzzy and will lift your spirit, this is it. This could get you out of a reading slump. You have Professor meet a Librarian. They're both like nerds, guys. Think about it. Two nerds that goes on a blind date. I'm not saying that nerds aren't fun, yo, but I have for you Tangled Reverence by Dari McCoy. This one had me laughing. So think about having a board member and a pastor, but they cannot see eye to eye. They are always butting heads because he is the president of the church board and she is a female pastor. They can't play well at all, but they must come to a compromise. And so you see this tension between them, like you have like good, clean banter between them, and you're laughing and you're giggling because you're feeling the tension. You're laughing and you're giggling because there is this attraction, and you're like, This book was a whole lot of fun. It was light and it was sweet and it was fluffy and it was giddy, and I was giggling while reading Tangled Reverence. Y'all need to read this. You didn't know you needed this book, but I'm letting you know you need this book. Love Notes by Blue Sapphire. This one is a bit thicker. Okay, it's a bit thicker. I love this book. When you think about love notes, think about this. So this one, it is sweet and it is adorable. In this book, we meet Bishop. He's a musician. He's going on tour. You have Saga. She's without a job and her boss wants to try to blackmail her. She's at her wit's end and she makes up her mind. She's like, listen, I'm going to tuck my tail and go home. And they have this meeting and he offers her a job, and the job is to be like his social media person on the bus, but she must live on the bus, like she has to come on tour with him, and this is actually her field. So she's like, you know what, I'm going to get an opportunity to work, make some money, and then I'll go home. Bishop is one of my favorite celebrity fictional characters ever. He's like my favorite. He is sweet and he's caring, and there isn't any issues with like drugs or mental health. Like, he came from a family, a well-rounded family. He's just sweet. He's just caring, and she's like shocked. She's like, what? Excuse me? There are people like this in the world still? And when Bishop realizes that her ex-boss wants to try to blackmail her, he's like, not happening. No, let me deal with this. Okay? And he has the money to deal with it too. This is sweet. This was fun reading. And I was giggling. I was like, this guy is too good to be true. And he's fictional. He's fictional. And I'm thinking, he is too nice to be true. He's too good. Like, what's wrong with him? Nothing. Nothing. Read Love Notes. Let me know if you love this book. If you've read it, let me know if you enjoyed it as much as I did. Because just think about it. He needed a muse and she turned out to be his muse. And he was creating music like nobody's business. I received an advance copy of One in a Million by Beverly Kendall. And I enjoy this. I've never read anything by Beverly Kendall before, but I liked it. It hasn't even released as yet, but I'm recommending it to you because I enjoyed it and it was fun. So we have these two characters. She is like a singer. She's in the fashion industry. She's famous. She's doing her thing. However, she has a medical condition, and so she decides to freeze her eggs. And then you have this white couple that decided to get pregnant through a surrogate woman, right? And there was some type of mix-up. The baby comes, but the baby is mixed. And so she finds out that she has a child in the world that she wasn't prepared to have. And they, as a couple, need to figure out, are we going to keep the kid? But there's a backstory. And so you see where he becomes a single parent and she wants to get involved in her child's life. Y'all, this is such a sweet book. This is such a sweet book. It will give you a toothache. It will give you a toothache. You have a little drama in it because obviously, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but obviously there's more going on. But this will give you a toothache because she is so sweet. This is funny. It is swoony. Some people don't like the surprise baby trope, but this was genius. The way that this trope was used, it was genius. Because look how she became a mom. The concept of this book blew my mind. That's all I have to say. It blew my mind. So these are my cute and my sweet recommendations. Y'all know I read more dark romances, but I am shifting gears to incorporate more lighter, more sweet, not very dark books. If you enjoyed these recommendations, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, y'all. Thank you so much for supporting my page. This takes a lot, and I love you all. Like, I genuinely love you all, and I love talking about books that I read and books that I want to read. And thank you all so much for the love. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe if you have not. And I'll see you when I upload another bookish video. Bye.